Welcome to week 2. In this overview video, I introduce the focus and work of the week, and importantly, introduce our first major class project, Creativity Quest 1, which is due by noon on Saturday, February 1st. Your work for the week is to first explore the readings, cases, and sparks for week 2. Second, review the Creativity Quest 1 assignment, and again, I'll introduce it in this video. And 3, post a question and 2 responses on PackBack. To get us warmed up, I want to share a couple of creativity case studies and then talk a bit about the focus of the week, which is technology and creativity. My first example takes us to Florida and back to the mid-1960s and a coach wondering about how his players were being affected by heat and what happened when players sweated. Was sweat just water leaving the body? Was sweat just the body's cooling mechanism, or something else going on? The coach connected with some medical sciences researchers on campus and analyzed how it is the body metabolizes nutrients and what nutrients are ideal for athletes during competition, and Gatorade was born. Since the early 2000s, Gatorade has been included in PepsiCo's top 5 mega brands. Gatorade makes more than $1 billion in sales every year. It's absolutely the worldwide market leader in sports drinks. 2015 was Gatorade's 50th birthday. According to a Nielsen survey that was done in 2017, more than 42 million people drink Gatorade weekly. How is this a case of creativity? This coach saw the world slightly differently. He thought to ask questions that at the time were really weird questions. He paid attention to his players and collaborated with others to address the questions he had about his players' experiences. My second example has to do with sweeping. Up until the 1990s, sweeping hadn't really changed much. Brooms had a bit. Most brooms today are made of plastic and synthetic fibers, but the act of sweeping isn't much different. This changed in the late 1990s when Procter & Gamble realized they needed to innovate in the cleaning market. They hired ethnographers to go into people's homes and watch them clean. This was their job. They watched people clean. And the project had gone on for like 6 weeks. Everyone was getting pretty frustrated. Imagine spending every day watching people clean their houses for weeks on end. The researchers hadn't really seen anything innovative until they observed a woman in her 80s sweeping her floor. As they watched, she swept the floor with her broom, swept the mess up in a dustpan, but then she dampened a paper towel in the sink, stuck it to the end of the broom, and used it to pick up the last bits of dirt and dust from her floor. And about a year later, the original Swiffer broom hit the market. I like this as a creativity case because it reminds me that all creativity requires research, looking, listening, exploring in the world around us. My third example is from research that 3 of my colleagues, other professors at MSU, worked on a few years ago. Their work focuses on social media and epidemiology. Epidemiology is the tracing of illness, and their study started when they realized 2 things. First, foodborne illnesses are often officially reported when it's really late, after dozens and sometimes hundreds of people have gotten sick. Second, people tend to overshare on social media. So they created a web-based bot software that scours Facebook updates and Twitter posts for instances of foodborne illness. Here's how the bot works. It uses natural language processing and can recognize differences in context. So for instance, if someone tweets, "I had Taco Bell and it was sick," the bot will analyze and likely ignore the tweet. But if someone tweets, "I had Taco Bell and I'm really sick," the bot will archive that to a feed that reports back to epidemiologists that a case of potential foodborne illness has happened. How is this a creativity case? These researchers see our everyday communication tools as more than just spaces to communicate. They're spaces where we can ideally intervene in serious outbreaks of illness. And this case is a great case for this week as we focus in on the digital context of creativity. So this week, we're going to continue to focus on what creativity is,
but hone in on how digital tools and spaces have changed the context of creativity. This last creativity case I shared is an excellent one connecting creativity to digital media. So our first reading is the preface and chapter 1 from a Legos Learning Institute report where the authors address systematic creativity in the digital realm, which is really interesting for the producers of a physical toy to be exploring and thinking about. The first case consists of 3 videos related to the impact of digital media on our educations, our work, our lives, our world. The second case is of an MSU student who got funding from Jeep to travel across the United States and spend time with different families and then report on his experiences on a website. The third creativity case is an MSU-born entrepreneurial venture called Tempo Run. And we have 2 sparks for the week. One is a list of 58 tech-related life hacks, and the other spark asks you to find a free creativity app, download it, install it, and play around with it. I want to provide an overview of your first Creativity Quest assignment and share some example work with you.
The full assignment for Creativity Quest 1 is available linked from D2L in the Syllabus, Assignments, and Dropbox folder. Please look it over and let me know if you have questions as you get started. Because Creativity Quest 1 asks you to make a web page or a small website, I've created the assignment as a small website. On your web page or website, you include a photo of yourself and a brief biography statement. Then you'll offer a definition of creativity, a definition of entrepreneurship, and one example that you think illustrates the importance of creativity in entrepreneurship. Please plan to spend some time this week exploring the assignment, which includes an overview, requirements, some technical considerations, how to turn in your Creativity Quest 1 work, and an important note about whether or not you want to include your full name on your publicly published website. The Creativity Quest 1 website includes the full assignment, and it also links to some example student work that I think worked really, really well. I want to share a few more specific examples from student projects. In the past, in defining creativity, students have chosen great quotes and definitions, including that of Linda Nyman of the consultant's Creativity at Work, who defines creativity as the act of turning new and imagined ideas into reality. Creativity involves 2 processes, thinking, then producing. Innovation is the production or implementation of an idea. If you have ideas but don't act on them, you're imaginative but not creative. And if you were to include a quote like this in your Creativity Quest 1 work, you'd want to introduce the person who said the quote, tell me a little bit about them, include the quote, and then talk a bit about why you chose the quote and why it matters to you. Others quoted from people like Albert Einstein, who said that creativity is seeing what everyone else has seen and thinking what no one else has thought. One of my favorite quotes about creativity comes from Maya Angelou, a writer and past American poet laureate, who said, "You can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have." As for web work, I've provided links to examples on the assignment website, which will show you how students created their pages using a range of templates, design resources, and inspiration. Your website should include a photo and a biography statement, a definition of creativity, a definition of entrepreneurship, and one example that you think illustrates the importance of creativity in entrepreneurship. So for a biography photo, these are 3 photos, and I might use any of those. A biography statement itself is a short introduction to you, who you are, what matters to you, what your interests are. I'd like to hear about what your major is and why you're interested in creativity, innovation, and entrepreneurship. My bio statement reads, my research interests include digital visual rhetoric, social and cultural entrepreneurship, innovation and creativity, and intellectual property issues in digital space. I've published 10 books, most recently Type Matters and Explanation Points. I'm the Associate Chair and Director of Grad Programs in Writing, Rhetoric, and American Cultures. I became a writing teacher because of the value I place on communication. You can have the best idea in the world, but if you can't effectively communicate it to others, that good idea is going nowhere. When I'm not working, I'm outside adventuring and fishing. 3 important considerations for this first creativity quest. First, don't just copy and paste quotes and examples. Again, introduce, situate, explain them. Second, I want to see some connection to the class readings and materials. Quote or summarize ideas from a reading you found important, or include an example from a case or a spark. And finally, I know some of you maybe haven't created a web page before, and that's okay. This class is a place to play, explore, and experiment. And there are some suggestions for getting started and some tools you might use on the Creativity Quest 1 assignment website linked from D2L. Email me if you have any questions at all about our first Creativity Quest. The link to your web page is due uploaded to D2L by noon on Saturday, February 1st.
I hope this video provided you with a good introduction to our Week 2 focus on creativity and digital context and an overview of the readings, cases, and sparks for Week 2. And I hope this also provided you with a solid overview of and some excitement about getting started with Creativity Quest 1.